Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got the 2023 i4 eDrive35. It's sort of been a surprise announcement from BMW about this lower range i4. I don't think they've done a good job advertising it, but we got some words about this. So this one, of course, is in Tanzanite Blue. And basically what this car is an i4 eDrive40 with a smaller battery pack, less range, no M Sport package availability, which cuts down on 2 of the paints, and 3 choices of wheel. But otherwise, the options are essentially the same between those 2 models. The issue I've got is they've announced this new eDrive35, and they can't build enough of the M50 models. So we've got pre-orders still on the way to the dealership. They are really late. And we got a big waiting list for the M50. We've also got a big waiting list for the 40. And that's because the M Sport package for the 40 has been removed from the offer. So if you're holding out to get an i4 eDrive40 with the M Sport package so you can get, say, Brooklyn Gray or Portimao Blue, no longer available. We don't have any word on when that will return. I imagine it might be for model year 24, which strangely for the i4s, the G26 platform, basically the same as the 4 Series Grand Coupe, won't begin production until July of 2023. So the other 4 Series models have begun model year 24 production in March. So I don't know what the delay is on this one, and I think the one change for this one is going to be the gear selector. It's going to look like the nub that you find in other iDrive 8 vehicles. So as I said, options are essentially the same, but for a couple things. So starting price is about $4-ish grand lower than the eDrive40. And I guess the reason you don't have the M Sport package availability is because then you can still maintain that sort of delta between the two. All right, so let's talk about the wheels over here on the side. So as I mentioned, we have 3 choices for wheels. Standard 18-inch wheels, and these are the 19-inch wheels, style 855s, and we actually won the tire lottery of sorts, Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, not the 4S. But 4 is, I think, a pretty well-reviewed tire as well. Let's take a step back, and you'll notice that we have the Shadowline exterior trim. It's a no-cost option, so that brushed aluminum that goes around the windows is replaced with the Shadowline trim. I think it's the way to go. Of course, opinions will vary slightly on that. So these 19-inch wheels get you about 235 miles of range. Go with the 18s, it's 256 miles. How does that compare to the 40? So the 40, about 301 miles range on the 18-inch wheels. On the 19-inch wheels get you, I think it's 282 miles of range. So a little bit of a drop-off. And of course, whether or not this makes sense for you is going to make, it's going to be basically what your commute look like and how you're using the vehicle. So I think this would be a very good commuter car where your commute isn't that big, or long, I should say, because your eDrive35 badging. So if you got access to charging at home and work, this could make a lot of sense. Now, BMW has actually made this quite enticing. So right now, you can get a $7,500 lease credit on the eDrive35, not available on the 40 or the M50. So this is making, I think what BMW is advertising is $499 monthly payment. You have to look at the terms and conditions on that. Does not include tax, and there's a cap reduction as well to get you down to that payment. But a sub $500 payment is possible, depending on how they're spec'd. So as you can see in that grille, you can see the camera. So this means this one has the parking assistance package on it. Also available, although not on this particular i4, is the driving assistance professional package. So you get a pretty well-equipped eDrive35. if that's going to make sense for you and your basically your usage. Is this going to be a long distance traveler? Probably not right now, but you still get the Electrify America 2 years of free DC fast charging. And those are 30-minute sessions. So opening up, we have the black perforated Sensitech paired with the Tanzanite, and of course you could go with Cognac or Decora Red, or even, I think it's Canberra Beige. Can also be pretty good choices. You also step up to some leather options as well. So seats, you've seen these before on the 4 Series and the i4. Nothing's really changed. Nothing has changed at all on the vehicle as well. You get that little chime for the fasten seatbelt. So obviously iDrive 8, no big surprises here. Again, nothing's changed. But you can, we'll go over the options and you'll see what we have. You see that heads-up display is an available option. Trim is the aluminum mesh trim. Aluminum trim with mesh effect. Your iDrive 8 screen, all seen before. Your gear selector, BMW blue accents as well. But nothing too crazy. And just maybe a pro tip here. Let's go into the charging app here. So you want to use the DC fast charging. What you want to do is go over here and do the precondition the battery. So you're going to get the full effect. I believe the 35 is limited to, I think it's 180 kilowatts in terms of the charging for the DC. But no limit on the AC that you'd see different than, say, the i4 E40 or the M50. So up to 48 amps. And level 2, I think the charging time is about 7.5 hours or so. All right, so let's go over the pricing. So, starting price of the i4 eDrive35 is $51,400. Tanzanite Blue is a premium color for another $1,500. Sensitech included. Parking assistance package for $700. Premium package for $950. $600 for those 19-inch wheels. $1,100 for the curved display with heads up. Basically, it's a heads up display, essentially. And then $875 the Harman Kardon sound system. All told, MSRP of $58,120 smackers. So, not bad. And your steering wheel, your standard steering wheel, you do not get M Sport at all on the 35, so it's never planned to have the M Sport package on it. So let's go take a look at the back seat. That's the other big complaint about the 4 Series Grand Coupe and the i4 is the opening of the rear door. So it's really narrow. And of course, the roofline doesn't help out tall passengers either. View from the back seat with the shade open. So, you know, very nice, modern-ish cabin. Extra climate zone back here as well. Knee room, legroom, really, really good. And then headroom, a little bit compromised. And other than the door opening and the headroom, I think the other complaint about it is the visibility out the back window. Let me show you what that looks like. At least part of it. All right, as you can see, it's pretty limited visibility in the back there. All right, we'll take a look at the trunk as well. The kick to open. And trunk space is really good. A big opening for the hatchback. So a little bit of extra storage here. Here's your Harman Kardon sound system stuff. Mobility kit right there. And chargers over here on the left-hand side. But really good in terms of space. Oh, I got the popo here. All right, take a walk around. What I'll do is I'll walk around, I'll pop the hood so you can see what's not there or what is there. So battery size, again, I mentioned it's reduced, so I think it's about 66 kilowatts of available battery to you. So a little bit on the limited side, smaller side, but hopefully by now you know what you're getting into. All right, so just like in the 4 Series Grand Coupe, hood release right there. I got the popo coming up on me. All right, so underneath the hood, really nothing to see. No extra storage space, no frunk. And there's no placard that shows you what paint it is, even though it's, technically semi-individual color. So other things you should know about the i4. You can get an individual color on these cars, be it the 35, the M50, or the eDrive40. So we do have a few individual colors coming in on these cars. We weren't sure how well these would sell, but to our surprise, there's a lot of people taking us up on these vehicles. But we've got a ton of allocations for the 35. It's probably the case for many other dealers as well. So if you're in the market or you're on the waiting list for the 40, you might want to consider the 35. Again, that's going to be dependent on your circumstances and your usage and your commute and your availability of charging at home, at work, etc. Again, Electrify America can help you out there as well. But that's it for a quick tour around the latest i4 to arrive. It's the eDrive35, and we'll see you at the next video.